The Brandon Peters Show may contain explicit language and detailed plot points. For more information on the show, stay tuned to the end of the episode.
The summer of 2004 at 20.
All right, Friday time. It means it's music time here on the summer of 2004 at 20 on the Brandon Peters Show. Joining me today, I have author and producer of KJ Today. This is Johna.
Hello, friends. Brandon, I can't believe this is my first time being invited onto your show.
I know, proper. You were on a live recording that was released, it's not your first time. Not the first time.
No.
And then, and then you could have been on another live recording, but you dissed me. PopCon Louisville. Last year, you're supposed to co-host the Brandon Peters Show with me live, and then you got replaced with Chris Johnson of the Normies. So
I feel like that was probably a pretty good replacement.
That was a very good replacement.
Yeah. I'm about to say I've never met that guy, but like he seems like you've done other stuff with him too. So like
now
I
have.
Yeah.
I met him literally the night, and I didn't remember meeting him the night before. So I met him the night before at the hotel. Well, granted, I had been through that shooting the night before.
Yes.
Met him on my pandemonium coming back to the hotel from that. And then the next day I went to their booth because I'm like, well, maybe one of these people seem improvisational fun. They'll get it. So because we'd done cons with Normies before.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I was like, all right. I went up to Rena and I didn't know her at the time either. And I was like, hey, would you or one of you group be able to spare an hour, come record to do this? She goes like, this guy. And she was like, hey, Chris, you go up to him. It's like, oh, okay. Hey, I'm Brady. He's like, yeah, we met last night. I was like, he's like, it's okay. I knew what was going on. I'm like, all right. And then
Brandon said I was pretty much blacked out, so I don't even know what's going on.
Yeah, they people who went, they were like, man, you guys do this all the time? I'm like, no, we literally met and recorded. So it was all good. So look at that.
Chemistry, you got chemistry.
You were trying to sink me, and you only made me sore. There you go.
I would never do such a thing. I think I was doing the Scott Patterson panel with KJ.
Okay.
So I think I was there doing that. So it wasn't on purpose. It just so happened that KJ needed me at the same time you needed me, and KJ just so happens to pay me. So.
And then it also started Patches being a guy in a crowd, which really helps the show live as well. So
Patches.
it came into fruition. You were your betrayal turned into the best thing. So
you're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you. So before we get into all this, as of when this drops, it'll be a couple months now, but you just recently published your first book.
I did.
Or do you want me to say novel?
No, it's not a novel. It's not a novel.
Novella?
It's a poetry book.
Poetry book. There we go.
It's called My Lonely Love. This is actually the very first copy that has ever been printed.
Gotcha.
So it came in the mail literally like 2 days before my release party.
Mm-hmm.
And I only cried like a lot, you know. But it's a poetry book about obviously being in love and being lonely. My cousin Casey, being the queen that she is, did this cover art for me. And it's available on my Etsy shop. It's available on Amazon. If anybody out there has read it by now, please go to my Amazon page and give it some good reviews so Amazon will continue to print it and keep it in their warehouse.
If you're planning on an audio book, I'll do the reading for it if you'd like.
Okay. I'll be sure to keep that in mind.
We need the male voice from the female poet.
Yeah.
The perspective. That's what they all want. The white dude with the beard reading that's perfect.
Yeah, we'll do a live reading at PopCon Louisville.
There we go, live reading. There we go. But very excited for you. That's one thing I've always in my deep treasures of bucket list, write a book, right? And I've had many ideas and stuff, and just never those. So very big kudos to you, because that's a huge thing to chalk up there. Like, oh yeah, I'm a published author.
It was, let me tell you, it was a labor of love. There was a lot of tears involved. And at one point I was like, I'm not even going to do this. This is too much. I can't handle it. I'm not going to do it. And then I was like, no, you should calm down. These things happen. There are bumps in the road, but you'll get it. And I've been cleaning my house since I've been off work for a week.
Mhm.
And I was cleaning out my office space and I found my list of goals that I had for 2024. And the very first one on the list was to get my book published. So
Boom.
yeah. So it was really, I was like, okay, I'm not gonna cry again about this. It's fine. It's fine. So I'm
Perfect.
pretty excited.
Hey, the fact that it's done, even if you didn't get it published, but you completed writing it, that's even, but now you're there, you're published. It's good. It's
Mhm.
awesome stuff. So,
Yes.
yeah, everybody check that out on Amazon and your Etsy store. So,
Yes, my Etsy store is Johna's Bookshop, JOHNAS Bookshop.
There you go. There we go. Okay. So, let's take you back to the summer of 2004 when you weren't a published author.
I was not.
Where were you at in life? Because I think of all the guests I have here doing this, you're probably the youngest at this point. You are alive. We have that.
I was alive.
You haven't been alive for any of these summer ofs at this point, right? I think because it's 82, 93.
No, 93 was the year before I was born.
Okay.
And I was born in the fall of 94 anyways. So
Okay, so yeah. You weren't even marinating in 93.
Nope, not even marinating.
Gotcha. Okay.
How old was I? I think I was, because this is summer of 2004, so I was 9 years old, about to turn 10 in November. So I was little 9-year-old Johna.
There you go. What were you into back then?
When I was 9?
When you were 9, yeah. What are the things?
Probably reading. I've definitely been into reading my whole life. Movies, definitely boys. I was just like just in love with every boy I ever met. I don't know. I just really don't remember that far back. If I'm being honest, it's 20 years and a lot of stuff has happened in between then. But I do remember reading a ton of books, and like I feel like the summer of 2004 was just like I probably just spent 90% of my time just hanging out with my friends and sleeping and pretending like I was cleaning the house while my mom was at work, and then forgetting to take the chicken out of the freezer so it could defrost so she could cook dinner.
Dude, I pulled it out earlier today. It is not defrosting very fast.
I don't know why it's not defrosted, Mom. I pulled it out.
I even poured some water on it for a bit.
Right?
Nothing.
Look, I pulled it out when I woke up at noon.
How long did you have it in the freezer anyway? I mean, it could be just
right.
Yeah.
I feel like it's just frozen solid. I don't know what happened.
There we go. I guess we can get pizza, right?
We got frozen pizza.
We have chicken tomorrow, right? When it's thawed. Yeah.
It'll be ready tomorrow. God, calm down.
Very true. Okay, so perhaps maybe you saw at some of these. You maybe didn't see. Well, maybe saw some of these movies that we talked about Monday. Maybe in the time since, possibly. We'll start with the documentary Metallica: Some Kind of Monster.
No, did not see that. No.
Metallica fan at all?
I can't say that I'm not a fan. I just have never like gone out of my way to listen to it.
There you go. Sleepover
with Alexa Vega.
And Scott Taylor Compton and
Evan
Peters.
I love that movie. I love that movie. Oh, the amount of hijinks I always wanted to get in at a sleepover, like in a movie. Real life, you can't actually do stuff like that.
Gotcha. So like funny enough, we have watched a bunch of these and it's awesome. One thing I'm noticing in the summer of 2004, every couple weeks there's a major movie aimed at young girls, being like real young or teen, like that's there. It's like there's always that option because it starts with New York Minute with the Olsen twins is the first one. There's sleepovers here. We have then in a couple weeks there's a Cinderella story, and then there's Princess Diaries 2.
A Cinderella story.
Saved, Mean Girls. Yeah, like there's all sorts of stuff there. Sleepover was one where I was just like, I would watch it now. I was just like, yeah, that one did not work for me. There is one that works for me, and I fight Scott about it coming later, folks. But we'll save that surprise for later. But Sleepover was one Scott was like, yeah, this is fine, and Aaron and I were like, no, dude.
I love that movie.
It had Steve Carell in it too. This is like Steve Carell not leaving the office, but starting to branch out to like movies because he'd have 40-Year-Old Virgin would be next summer, but at this point he was a little side character.
Oh man, I freaking just love that movie so much. Like it just It's just so I watched it, I don't know, maybe a couple of months ago.
Oh wow,
And
okay.
yeah, I'm just an old lady. And
There you
sometimes I
go.
forget that I've like seen these movies. And I'm like, I've never seen this movie before. And then I'll watch it. And I'm like, oh yeah. And then she breaks the trellis and then she does this. And she okay, I got it. I got it. So yeah, it just, I don't know. I just love it. It's very like, you know, when you're a kid and you
Mhm.
like see these movies and you're like, I know my life is going to be exactly like that. Like,
Right,
I'm going to
yeah.
have all of these friends and then people are just going to bust out into song while you're in high school. Like it's not like that, but you know,
You
can
want it to
dream.
be. You want it to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so the next one's Anchorman, The Legend of Ron Burgundy.
Hate that movie.
You hate it?
I hate it. And I
Oh.
love Will Ferrell and I love Paul. Like I love everyone who's in that movie. I hate that movie.
Okay. All right. And then lastly, the big movie from this week was King Arthur, starring Clive Owen, Keira Knightley, and Ioan Grufford. It's a realistic take on King Arthur. It puts him in like the Roman times and stuff like that. And
sounds stressful.
yeah, it's.
Brandon's like,
I was middling on it. My co-hosts were a little bit more favorable to it.
Brandon said it was mid at best.
Yeah. But one thing I did mention that when I saw Anchorman opening weekend in the theater, I was in this crummy Muncie theater because I was at Ball State at this time, and I could hear King Arthur in the theater next to me. It was so loud.
Well, yeah, movies like that, because I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of like action and like fighting and like the swords and shit. Can we cuss on this?
Yeah, you are
so sorry. I used to censoring myself. I went and saw, what did I see? And like it's happened like recently. I went and saw some movie and I could literally hear the other movie right next door. I was like, is the soundproofing not working in here or what's going on? Like, why can I hear like Pirates of the Caribbean 55 next door? I don't understand.
Right. Yeah, it happens. And it's just like, the theater I go to, though, I go to the Imagine in Noblesville. I never have that problem, so I'm very happy. But when I branch out to other ones, it's like a risk to take that you can like, oh, that's loud. I can hear it. Please, movie I'm watching be as loud as this one.
Right.
But, yeah. Okay, so we are here. The Burn is the second single from Usher's insanely successful Confession album. We already covered here, and a lot of accolades come for that album, but Burn hit #1 on the Hot 100 for 8 weeks. It was including being the #2 song on the Hot 100 for the entire year, went 5 times platinum all on its own, and named the 21st most successful song of the 2000s. Written and produced with Jermaine Dupri and Brian Michael Cox. The song was intended as the lead single for Confessions, but early cuts, DJs, they said leak, but there were some demos and stuff sent out to DJs and stations, and was getting a lot of good attention, so they shifted to that one. So I've talked a lot about Usher and Confession. We talked about with David and I, we talked a little bit about it, but Johna, tell us about Usher.
Baby. Usher Raymond. Oh my goodness. I love, okay. Full transparency, Usher was like my first big celebrity crush. And so like one that was like older than me, because like if we're talking like stand by my age, Jonathan Taylor Thomas was like love of my life, right? But Usher, like there was just something about him. He could sing, he could dance, he just like put on such a good show, and his music videos were always just amazing. Like, oh my god. Like I watched Burn earlier today because like I haven't seen it in a while. Like I listened to the song a lot. It's on my sad girl playlist, but like I'm like, yes, I have sad girl playlist.
But Burn can fit on sad boy playlist too. Like
it can fit on sad people playlist.
Yeah,
like if we're being honest. And I just was like, man, I was like, this video just still hits. Like the graphics of the fire, terrible, awful.
Oh yeah,
because it's 2004, right? But just everything else about it, like I just miss, because as a kid, I don't know if you ever did. I know some people who listened watched 106 in Park, BET's Top 10 Live.
106 in Park was like legit. I always talk. I have listeners that love that I mentioned 106 in Park on my show.
Oh my god!
So yeah,
I freaking loved 106 in Park. So like just to be a kid and sitting and watching 106 in Park, and you see Usher's Burn, or Yeah, or like Confessions, like whatever Usher song was out and popular
Mhm.
at the time was just like the best thing ever, because you're like, God, like I just love Usher so much, and I just miss the. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna go on like a whole tangent right now.
Go for it.
But like I miss, because I mean music videos now, like I don't even really watch them, because like music videos like in the early 2000s, like they really told you a story.
Well, Taylor and Gaga try. They attempt to make quality music videos, but a lot
Yeah.
of people just yeah.
Nobody, I mean, nobody's invested in the story like how like I would be invested in Usher's Burn, right? Like he's literally singing about how he is just so destroyed that
Mhm.
him and this woman are broken up, and her ghost is like haunting his home, and the only thing he can do is just burn his home down,
Mhm.
because everywhere she's been, everywhere he sees her, just has to catch on fire because he just can't handle it anymore. And then he has that super sick dance break in the
Oh yeah.
middle, right before you hit the bridge. Like, oh man.
Yeah, so yeah, like he so this video is directed by Jake Nava, who we talked about with Naughty Girl, which Usher shows up in that. So he's
Yeah, I know
working
what you're
together with him.
saying.
The woman we're talking about that haunts him, her name's Jessica Clark. She goes on, she plays Lilith on True Blood for 8 episodes, and then does a
Wow.
pair of episodes of Girlfriend's Guide to Divorce, and then a lot of
Oh,
roles
I
and
love
things
that
that
show.
she played like hot girl in a lot of things too. That it was no, like that type of role, or like pretty
Yeah.
lady at the desk.
Yeah.
But yeah, she like haunts him, and then like there's like a cool scene where like the fire's bad, but like the pool on fire, and then
Yeah.
under it is really
Yeah.
cool, and the palm trees, like a lot of cool. Even though the the graphics may be failing it, the
Mm-hmm.
idea is there and it works. So it goes
Oh, yeah.
it rises above some of its limitations of the time, which probably was watching on HD things, and these are SD rendered graphics at the
Mm-hmm.
time. Yeah, that work, but
Yeah.
the idea of it all works, and I do. Yeah, the car dance is awesome. Like, cause
Bro.
he's driving a James Bond Aston Martin.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
She's like in the middle of the road, pulls up, stops in front of her. She's gone,
Yep.
but he's like, "I'm gonna dance you away," as the palm trees are on
Look,
fire and shit.
I literally, as soon as he like stopped, because like her ghost is standing in the middle of the road, and he's like stopping so he doesn't hit her or whatever. And then he gets out of the car, and I'm like, oh man, he's gonna do the dance break, and I can't wait. Oh
Mm.
man, I was because
Coolest
every
dude on the fucking planet. Him and Timberlake at this time. Nobody
bro,
cooler. Like, it
dude,
was
like every song, every music video, like don't even get me started, because every cool music video had a cool fucking dance break in it.
yeah.
Like all the time. Like they just weren't singing, they were just hitting their 2, 3, whatever you call them. They were just
Mhm.
hitting those moves, and it just
So like I thought with like, and I talked about this on the Yeah one, but like there's a torch passed at some point from Michael Jackson, and it went two ways to Timberlake and to Usher. Usher was already
Mhm.
there. He already
Yeah.
had a decade going of this stuff, but when Timberlake went solo, I don't feel like people realized like how he would go solo. Like, because we'd
Yeah.
see New Kids on the Block do solo shit, and it was like whatever
Hmm.
and stuff like that. But like he went solo, and it was like I don't know if it was what we were expecting, but he went very dropped. He didn't like transition anything. Like, I'm going straight adult. I'm going straight dance. I'm showing off my fucking dance moves
Yeah.
and having these hot beats. So he kind of just was like, I'm gonna be White Usher, maybe is what he does, and like it works. And so these two are like doing Michael Jackson stuff at a time where Michael Jackson he had that he had what Invincible come out,
Hmm.
and then like that was yeah. But these two were like kings, and Usher dominates 2004. By the way, I gotta mention
Oh,
like this Confessions album dominates. Like I would
dude.
knew it was big at the time, but doing my research and stuff, going back, I'm like, holy fuck, this thing was like a cultural phenomenon more so
Bro.
than I realize.
Well, because like you've got Yeah on there, which is like, it gets the party jumping. Like as
Hmm.
soon as you hear that dun dun, everybody's like, oh shit, we gotta
It's an
get
all
on the
timer.
dance
It's not
floor.
even nostalgically cool. It's just still cool. Like I talked about,
Literally.
that and Toxic are out here in the same year.
Yeah,
Both of
yeah,
them
yeah.
aren't. There's no irony to any of them. There's no looking back nostalgia. They just
Hmm.
are like eternally awesome. Like
Yeah.
there's no I remember this, or I'm feeling like the old
Hmm.
days. It's just like no, it just kicks ass
Yeah,
all
it's just
time.
like
Like
you hear that song and you're like, all right, we're out. Like it doesn't
ageless.
matter. Like if you're at a wedding, if you're at like just your high school reunion, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's not "Don't Stop Believing" just came on. It's just like
Right.
this thing's badass. Let's do this. You know,
Right.
like it's
we're all getting out here and we're dancing. Like it
Yeah.
doesn't matter. But I think what made Confessions like such a good album, like granted, I haven't listened to the whole thing, like, you know, like in succession, but I've listened to songs here and there, but like it just, he's really telling you a story.
Yeah.
From Burn being like, you know, she's gone, she left me, blah blah blah, to actually talking about, yo, I'm having a baby by another woman. And it's like, what an intro.
Yeah.
Like with the phone ringing and your friend's like, yo man, like what's up? And he's like, oh no, how am I gonna tell this woman that I love that I cheated on her? Like it was so, like, I can't even say like iconic because that just seems like such a weird thing to say about it. But like it just was so, and I mean you had like R&B songs and like other songs that like talk about like, you know, oh, like I cheated on you, I did this and this, but it was literally like the intro, the phone call is what made it so different. Because he's like, I'm at the studio, man. What are you talking about? And it's like, oh shit. And the music video too was just amazing. But
so,
like, yeah.
So I gotta bring something up because as good as Bird is, I think it's worthy of respect. But like the first time I heard it, and a lot of the Confessions album, I'll say, is kind of like this too. And because he kept most of the production team together, it makes sense. But like when I heard Bird the first time, I was like, that was awesome. But if I'm being honest with myself, it's kind of like You Got It Bad Part 2. And like it sounds very similar, kind of feels that way. And I'm like, did he just try to kind of make the same song? And Jermaine Dupri produced that one too. And I'm like, did he just get away with doing the same thing twice? Like, because
I mean,
You Got It Bad is my ultimate Usher jam. That is like, that's probably my fave.
First of all, don't even get me started because I love, literally, if you talk to my younger sister, she will tell you that I ruined Usher for her.
Oh, geez.
Because I loved Usher to my core.
Gotcha.
He was everything to me. And You Got It Bad is definitely like number one up there, like in my Usher songs. Like if I'm really having some feelings, like I'll definitely turn on You Got It Bad. But like You Got It Bad is like, it's not like Let It Burn's like a breakup song, right?
Yeah.
You Got It Bad is just being like, yo, I'm down bad for this girl, or I'm down bad for this guy, like, and I can't imagine not claiming them as my own. Whereas Let It Burn is like, yo, this bitch dumped me. What am I gonna do?
Yeah.
Like that's kind of how I see him.
Okay. Yeah. Because I like, I mean, because like 8701, I was fucking addicted to that album when it came out. And then Confessions felt like the companion, like mirror of it a little bit. And so I wasn't as into Confessions as I was I thought Confessions is awesome, and I spun the hell out of that back in 2004. But like I was like, there's a lot of me that always like looks at Confessions like, okay, he just like put like 8701 and like give it steroids a little bit and then like went off of it. But because there's a lot of songs that feel like they touch base with another, like if you like go track to track, it's like almost not the same thing, but it's like handshaking the other album stylistically and stuff. And I'm not dogging him.
But I mean, you could also see it as like him continuing the story of like whatever is going on. What album was? God, I can't think of it. You Don't Have to Call.
That's 8701.
8701. That's like my number 2 Usher song. Like if I'm getting ready to go out or I'm having some kind of feelings about some man who done put me in my feelings, I put on that song and I'm like, yeah, they don't have to call me. I'm going out.
Yes.
Like, so I mean,
I'm gonna be all right. Yes.
Look, don't get okay. Look, Brandon, we got to go do some Usher like karaoke together.
There we go. It'll be the next 5 songs, folks. Get a drink if you need one. Speaking of, it was funny. The weekend before I moved to Los Angeles, I went out with some friends, and we started at this little like, you know, bar and grill place type thing, and they had karaoke with like nobody interested in doing karaoke. So my friend Jay and I put on a concert for people, and 4 songs in, somebody came up to the DJ, gave him a 20 to just shut down until we left. Because
Look, don't offer me karaoke if you don't want it. Okay.
nope. And we were like 4 songs deep, and the DJ's like, "No, I'm loving this." It's like, I don't have, because the karaoke DJ typically has to sing if no one's singing. They'll have to go out and at least do to show to. It's like an advertisement of the thing.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that was funny that someone offered $20
Dude,
to like.
I love to
Just,
karaoke. That is one of my favorite things to do, and I can never find people to go with me.
Oh, yeah, I haven't gone in a while. But yeah,
We should go, man.
we should
Make it
go.
an Usher. Make it an
Hopefully-
Usher night.
Usher. We're gonna take it down nice and slow here, folks. Going around for,
It's 7:00 on the dot. Do you know where Usher is?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I was just thinking, like, it kind of, this Usher progression reminds me of Radiohead going from the Benz to OK Computer to Kid A, if that makes sense to you. But it's like this little, like, I'm finding myself and I'm finding new things. Kind of feels like that. While we have praised this song, the Grammys did nominate it for 2, but it lost. So it was up for Best Male R&B Vocal Performance. It lost to Prince, the song Call My Name. The other nominees were Anthony Hamilton for Charlene.
Oh, that's a good song.
R. Kelly, Happy People, and Brian McKnight, What We Do Here.
Honestly, he was up against some pretty, like, besides like R. Kelly, like, he was up against like some top.
I know
dudes.
Brian McKnight's kind of a joke now, doing like, what was it, Applebee's commercials with this song? I can't remember. It was sad. I was like, oh man, you used to be like,
God, I freaking love Brian McKnight.
yeah. I was like, you used to be that like guy who had like a wheelbarrow full of panties on the stage type singer, like that.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
He was also up for Best R&B Song, which lost to Alicia Keys' You Don't Know My Name. The other nominees were not listed, so
honestly,
I think Usher did okay.
That's fair, also, because and then him and Alicia Keys did that song "My Boo" together. So like,
it's like the same year too. Because she was killing it this year too, and we have an episode with one of her songs as well. And she is a icon herself too. Like, it was a good year. It was a good year musically for a lot of these. But yeah. One other note: the house in this belonged to Frank Sinatra when he was alive.
Really?
Yep. So it's got Sinatra's house, James Bond's car, and a girl from True Blood. Go Usher.
Wow. Usher, trendsetter even back in the day. Okay.
There we go. Yeah. Dancing.
Gosh. I just love it so much.
Very cool. Well, John, I appreciate you for hopping on here for this one. Until your next go around here on the summer 2004 20, where can people keep up with you?
Well, you can pretty much find me anywhere. You can find me at Producer Johna on Instagram and X, if people still get on X. And you can follow me along on the KJ Today Show and the Kinda Nerdy Girls podcast at Kinda Nerdy Girls on anywhere that you can find us anywhere.
Sweet. And I'm on the socials at Brandon4QHD. PopCon Louisville with headliner Anson Mount is coming August 23rd to 25th. Johna will be there, right? You'll be there.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Okay.
Allegedly. I don't know. It depends on if Anson Mount gets divorced by then.
Oh, there you go.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
At the Convention Center in downtown Louisville. You should totally sign up for the podcast stage there if you have a podcast. Find all information for that and more at popcon.us. Monday, Scott, Aaron, and I are back to discuss The Door in the Floor, a Cinderella story, Maria, Full of Grace, and I, Robot. All that and more as the summer of 2004 at 20 continues.
The summer of 2004.